So we're started, we're laying back, we've got our blocks nearby us. And so just let yourself begin with a few good, deep breaths in our body. We're starting to get some oxygen pumping through our lungs already. I like to take a nice deep inhale. Maybe it only takes a second or two to fill up the lungs, but it's several seconds to let that exhale go, just because that's very relaxing for the body when the exhale is longer. So keep on doing that breath. That helps to oxygenate our body as we take a moment to connect with our intention for today. You'll notice a theme pretty quickly on in our class today. And that theme is that a lot of the poses that we're doing today have to do with strength of the legs. And so these are rooting muscles. I imagine roots as I'm building up those parts of my body. And so just check in with how, if you could envision roots as your legs right now, how do they feel? When you have a newer root system, they don't have as much clinging around dirt, and they're just kind of there. If you were to uproot them, the plant would definitely wither. It would not be able to hold onto as much dirt as it needs. So maybe they feel like, you know, fresher roots like that, they have a lot of potential, but they're not that strong yet. Or maybe you already feel like solid sticks going clear down into the earth already. So just check in with it. And from here, already, let's begin. The knees come into the chest. Do a couple of nice little circles, just to give it a chance for you to feel the muscles. That helps us bring awareness to not overdo it. So that we can kind of, you know, pay attention. Okay, this is too much. I need a break. That's always fine if you do need breaks. Or you can check in and see, okay, I think I can stay all the way to the end. So from here, allow both legs to reach all the way up to the sky. Hands drop down to the floor, or even tuck the thumb slightly under the hips. If you do that, it just helps the low back to make sure it does not lift off the ground. So with any inhale, we're going to be lowering legs down. You choose how far they go. Any exhale, you go back up. Just make sure you don't lower so far down that the low back does have to lift. That's not an option here. So keep the breath pumping for you. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6. Always know you can take breaks if they're needed. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring your hands to clasp around the right leg. Left leg just gets to drop. So nice stretch for a moment. As we're building up our strength, it's important to take little breaks and to just get to stretch out those muscles. So that way we're building them in a long, lean way. So maybe we're working on the ankle, rolling that if that feels tight, or perhaps we're working on the hamstring, really straightening the leg long. Maybe for just a brief moment, you walk the hands up even higher, kind of bring the forehead in to touch the knee. And then rest the head all the way down. From here, let's start to switch the legs out like scissors. So if an exhale, the second leg comes up. Exhale back to the first. Maybe using hands this first one is nice. You can always release the hands to make it harder. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're on the left leg, just stay. If not, do one more switch. And just let this side have that same chance to stretch out. So maybe ankle rolls, maybe the heel is reaching up, your choice. Try to walk the hands a bit higher up the leg. Maybe the forehead can come in close to the knee. Okay, head starts to release down. We do another set of scissors. Maybe you're using hands again, or perhaps you're ready to release using just the strength of the legs to do the switches. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Release. Drop the feet down to the ground. Take a few windshield wipers, left and right. It's like a good first couple of minutes to just say, it's like, okay, hello legs, I guess I'm here. Okay. As the legs start to feel pretty good, eventually they're in stillness. We're preparing for bridge pose, so hands are on the floor. We're going to do 5 sets, rolling up. Start at the hips and then roll up one vertebrae at a time. Rolling down, opposite way. Hips down last. Here's 4. Keep the breath flowing, the whole inhale and the whole exhale. And 2. The last one, stay up at the top. 10 times we do little pulses. This is about 1 inch higher and 1 inch lower than where you are right now. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll the hips down to relax. Both legs reach up to the sky and try to grab onto the legs, pulling them closer toward you, just for a nice little stretch for a moment. Maybe you're partway toward plow pose almost. Not if it's too much work though. Okay. Release. We're gonna do the same thing, 5 sets and then the 10 pulses. This time, if you've got those blocks, you're placing a block at the low height under each foot. So it's a little bit higher that you have to travel. So when you're ready, hands are on the floor. Let's roll up, 5. Can the breath flow even deeper with that extra lift that we have? 4, 3, 2, 1, and stay. And here is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll down. And take happy baby pose. Grabbing onto outside edges of feet, the knees go wide. You can absolutely be in stillness or you can be rocking around it. Okay, as we start to release, let's take it one more time. Maybe we're going up to a middle height. The tall height's a little bit harder just because it's more wobbly. So maybe you bump it up, or maybe you're happy with the last height that you just did. Personal preference there. I'll give you a moment to shift. Okay, same thing, 5 and then the 10 pulses. So when you're ready, roll all the way up to the sky and roll all the way down. 4, 3, 2, this last one, stay, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Roll all the way down. Maybe you're feeling burning like me. Definitely. Let's take the right ankle up onto the left thigh. If this isn't a deep enough stretch, just pushing the right knee open, that's fine. Or you can clasp around the left side and pull it in even deeper. Whatever that right hip is saying. As you release the ankle cross, maybe you let the whole knee do a couple of circles, clockwise and counterclockwise. Whatever wiggles feel good just to continue to loosen up that glute. Good. And then only when you're ready for second side, left ankle comes up. Thread around right side. Another huge inhale. And with that exhale, if the left leg wants to do some similar circles or any just double knee rocks, anything that feels good, just loosening up the tight spots, feel free to take those moments. Good. When that's pretty satisfying, one block scoots off the side, the second block comes up into our hands. Place the block onto the left thigh and it's held up with the left elbow. This side is pushing into the block, so both the thigh and the elbow are pushing. You feel the abdominal muscles directly under the block, engaged to keep that held in place. The second side, right arm and right leg stretch away from one another and exhale, touch. And here is 9, 8, 7, keep on pushing into the block, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's switch the block. Immediately to second side. Okay, start pushing firmly into the block, both elbow and thigh. And then when you're ready, extend and touch. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Release the block for a moment. Both knees get to simply take a twist over to the left. Arms spread open so the back is stretching against the twist. Okay, knees up and over to the second side. And hips start to go back down to the ground. Let's take one more thing while we're directly on our back like this. So we grab one of our blocks, place the block in between ankles. The knees absolutely can be bent if you need to make this easier. Straight leg is harder. Anytime the legs are up, the arms are up. And then when they lower down, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, when everything comes back together, switch the block into the hands. Lower down, raise up, and switch. So arms and legs lower each time. You're just switching whether the blocks is in the hands or in the feet. This one's pretty challenging, so let's just go for 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing. Set the feet down for a moment. I know, I feel it too. It's like, oh, okay. When you can tell me, when I use small numbers, you can tell it's like, this is a hard one. Okay, lift the hips up, slide your block under your hips. It doesn't have to be all the way to the tall height, but it can be. Whichever height you choose, start to slide the legs long, just to feel the muscles on the front part of the hips pop up to get a stretch. So that's the psoas muscle. And just enjoy that release, that opening through the front part of the hips. Slide the feet back in, remove the block, and you're gonna roll over onto your side body, the side that lets you see me more easily. So some of us might be right, some of us might be left. Because of that, I'm just gonna refer to top hand and bottom hand. That'll help us out. So the top hand is on the ground in front of us. The goal is to make it so shoulders are not moving left and right. The whole core and the shoulders are solidly there. It's just the legs that are going to be moving. So the first thing that we're doing is lift the top leg up level with the hip. We're going to leave the leg straight as it swings forward. Up at the top, bend the knee, extend the leg behind you, and then it becomes straight. That's where we leave the leg straight to go forward, bend, go back. So 3 more to this direction. Try to keep the shoulders solid. 3. I know it's hard. 2. And 1. Pause for a moment. Now we're going to reverse it. So when we do the bend, we bend to reach it up to the top. Leave the leg straight as it swings like a rainbow all the way back. Bend to go forward and back. Here's 3. And 2, use the core, try not to move shoulders in the back spot, it's hard. And 1, and drop down to rest for just a moment. Okay, from here, hot potatoes. The top leg touches the ground in front of the other foot twice, and then you hop up like a rainbow, touch behind twice. You choose how high the arc is. It could be a nice low arc, or it could be super hopping up. So your choice. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bend your knees in. Press into your hands. The hand that's closer to your ankle grabs onto the ankles. The other hand reaches up to the sky and then leans over. Beautiful. So rise back up. From where you're sitting, just swing the feet to the other side of the mat. This makes it so you can still face me. Your feet are just where your head was on the day. Beautiful. So long, laying down onto the ground. The feet are welcome to hop just slightly forward like the shape of a banana. Top hand is solid on the ground so the shoulders don't have to wiggle. And lift the leg up level with the hip. The leg stays straight as it goes forward. Now bend it, extend to the back. Keep the leg straight as you reach all the way forward. Bend to kick back. And here's 3, 2, and 1. Leave it at the back space. To reverse it, we bend the knee to reach the toes forward in front of us. Leave the leg straight, swinging through the rainbow. Bend the knee, extend, and swing. And here's 3, 2, and 1. Good. Rest for a moment. Both legs one on top of the other. And then when you're ready, hot potato, tap twice in front, arch up, tap twice behind. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Rest. Let the knees start to bend in. Press into the hands to rise the torso up. The hand that's closer to the ankle grabs onto the ankle. The other hand reaches up to the sky and then over. Okay. As we start to release, come into a cobbler's pose for a moment. This is a good moment to check in with our roots as we release the spine up and forward. Take a moment to check in, just kind of closing your eyes. If you could imagine your legs as roots, how do they feel now? So maybe at this tiring spot, they're like, I'm wobbly now. Just keep on trusting that they're still growing. There's still lots of good things are happening for them. Okay. As we start to sit back up, choose one side for you to take a side plank position. If you need to make it easier, have your knees bent, and so you're in like a kneeling variation. So we're choosing one side with side plank. Similar to what we did in the bridge earlier, all we have to do is drop the hips down an inch and raise them up an inch. For 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and drop down for a moment. Shake that bottom hand out. Okay, second side. When you're ready, we're up to the side plank. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and shake that bottom hand out as you release. Sometimes it's nice even to clasp the hands together and do little circles with the wrists. Good. Okay, let's set up a block to either side of us, left and right. I personally am going to take the high height because that helps me feel like I can lift higher. But the high height, it does have the most wobbly block, so you can drop down a height or two. Essentially what we're doing here, starting off in a cross-leg position, you're going to try to press into the blocks, lift the hips up. You kind of have to curl your spine to lift them high. And then maybe the top foot lifts also. Maybe there's a moment where the bottom leg lifts. You can absolutely go in and out, even roll your wrists to take little breaks, or eventually turn your hands into fists if that's what's needed. As soon as it feels like you're losing the breath, take a break. Let's shake it out, maybe change the cross of the legs. Okay, let's try once more. Press, hips lift, maybe one foot, maybe both. Good work. Drop down. And from here, just out in front of you, let your knees go wide enough that you have space to rotate the hands. So you've got thumbs going to the outsides and the bottom part of the hand going toward the screen if you're on the camera. And then just start to let the fingers plant down. And then maybe part of the palm or maybe the whole palm gets to go down. Good. Definitely needed after that last one. You're gonna do slow motion to gently come out of it. And once you've lifted up, turn the hands in the other way. So you've got the fingers trying to come into the forearm. Place that right at your armpits. You don't have to put too much pressure. You can go lower if you need to, or higher to go deeper. Just find a good wrist stretch. Posture's lifting up tall. And pausing for a few rounds. Okay, take your time gently coming out of that one. And maybe the wrists just start off by opening and closing. Maybe they roll out both directions. And maybe eventually it feels good just to shake them. Good. Okay. Coming onto hands and knees. If your wrists still need a break, just take fists as we stay in the kneeling position. And then from here, I'm just gonna scoot my blocks so they're not gonna be kicked over by my legs. Okay, so from this tabletop position, let's allow the right leg to kick directly back behind us. This is the starting position. The first part is that we bring the knee to the nose and then get straight back to start. The second part, hike the right hip up a little bit so that from the side you can bring the right knee to the shoulder and then back to the start. So we're going to repeat that the whole cycle, knee to nose and hike the hip up, knee to shoulder. And here's 3, 2, and 1. Good. Let those right toes land at the back of the mat. And you're gonna press back until you feel the calf stretch. I have to press back so much that my other knee lifts, but it's not required. It just depends on what you need to do to get that calf to stretch. Okay, lowering down, we switch the legs out. So left leg is directly behind us. Knee to the nose and back. Lift the hip up a little bit, knee to the shoulder and back. Here's 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good, landing the toes, set for the left calf stretch. Maybe lift up to full downward facing dog, both legs stretching or hips lifting high. And from here, we're going to step the right foot forward in between the hands. The left knee drops down for a second. I'm going to show you 3 options. The first one's just a stretch. Options 2 and 3 become more difficult. So option 1, if you just want the stretch, you're sinking forward with the hips. Hands can just rest on that thigh. Option 2, a little bit harder. Tuck the back toes, and you're just going to be hovering the knee up a little bit above the ground. Option 4 gets directly into some of the quad muscles. So you're tucking the back toes so they're pointed on the ground. And then you're lifting the pointed foot up. So it's like you're pushing into that quadricep muscle. So choose option 1, 2, or 3. We're gonna hold statically for a count of 10. Okay, so choose your option. You're there. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently lower. Heel turn the foot wide, so right foot is now pretty much off the mat. Coming forward into lizard pose, lift the back knee up. We're gonna try to stay lifted so we've got some strength going on. Maybe lower one elbow to block or floor, maybe both elbows. Okay, coming back up onto hands. Heel toe the foot to be back in the center. Right knee is bent. We're walking our hands up and then sweeping the arms up to a nice lunge shape. And then from here, lean slightly forward. That makes the front quad start to have to hold us in place. So holding here, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the hands down, step back, maybe take a child pose for a moment. If you prefer down dog, that's also fine. Starting to work back up to tabletop and then downward facing dog. Left leg floats for a moment and then we step it in between hands. We've got the 3 options. So option 1, rest and stretch. Option 2, the toes are still touching the ground as you lift the knee to hover. Option 3, you're pointing the foot and rising up to the quad work. So when you're ready, start to lift up. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop down. Left foot goes to left. We're in lizard, so lift the back knee up. Maybe drop to one or both elbows. Okay, back up onto hands, heel toe the foot back to the middle. We come up to stand. Shorten the stance or whatever you need to do to have balance. And arms sweep up. Leave them glued right by the ears as we lean forward. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the hands down. Step up to the top of the mat. Even set the blocks up toward the top of the mat, just so they're there for us in a little bit. Nice forward fold. This is a good chance, again, to check in with the roots. At this forward fold, to me, they feel so strong. It's like I have solid roots now, where maybe they didn't feel quite so powerful before. Great. Bend the knees, roll our way up to stand. And here we're going to go into a little challenge section. So this will be our last hard series. We're going to do a complete flow on one side, complete flow on the other side. So it starts off with chair. So perhaps big toes touch, toes are slightly separated. Start to sit back. Hands are welcome to be at the heart. We're going to lift the toes, set the toes down, lift the heels, set the heels down. Rocking toes and heels. One more time. Toes. That's okay. And heels. Okay, stay like this chair. From here, your weight shifts into the left foot. You're not trying to lift up from the chair. You're still sinking just as low as you are. But see if you can hover the right foot above the ground, even tossing around. Right knee. Now push into the left foot to get you up to stand. See if you can straighten this right leg out in front of you. It doesn't matter what angle it is. It could be low. The thing is, it has to stay straight. Choose that angle. Reach the arms up overhead. Clasp your thumbs together. Now lift your leg higher. Maybe lean back just a little bit. And from here, lunge that right leg back. We're ending up in that same variation we had before, toes tucked, or maybe knee hovering, hands up to the thigh, whichever variation. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If they were tucked, untuck them. Turn open to this long edge of the mat. Come up, and with the goddess pose, the toes turned out, let yourself already be in a good squat. Maybe arms open, level with the shoulders. Rock your weight over to the left side, lifting the left heel up, and over to the right, lifting right heel up. 2 more each side. And 1. Good. Drop the hands down for just a breath or 2. Nice forward fold. Toes did turn forward. Now walk the hands up to the top of the mat. The front foot lifts down, under, and then up to 3-legged dog. And then bring the knee to the nose through plank position. Holding here. The knee goes over to the right and the left. 2, 1. Lift back up, three-legged dog. Step left foot in between hands. Walk the hands up onto the blocks and launch forward, supported warrior 3. Okay, now here's gonna be the real challenge of class today. You're gonna lower down into a piston squat. So we start off, the knee comes to the nose. We start walking the blocks backwards so we can support ourselves squatting down as the front leg hovers out in front. If it's too much on your knees, don't worry about the full thing. Good. Bring the knee back in. Tuck under and through to lift up, standing split. Good. 2 more of those, so tuck the knee in. To lower down, blocks go backwards, piston squat. And up. 1 more. Down. And up. Good. Both feet land next to one another. Just take a little break. You're earning your goodies today. Okay. Start heel toeing the feet. So big toes touch, heels are slightly separated. Bending the knees. Roll up and then sink back into the chair. Lift the toes up. Toes down, lift the heels up. Going for 2. And 1. That's okay. It's always the third one. Okay, start shifting your weight into the right leg. You're not rising up at all. We're gonna lift the left foot up, clasping around it, and then press into the right leg to come up. The leg starts to reach out in front. Try to find a straight angle, however high that is. Arms sweep up by the ears, hook the thumbs. Maybe lean slightly backward. And plant the hands down, left foot lunges back. Choose whichever position. You're maybe in a stretch by this point. Maybe the knee lifting or maybe the toe flipped and hovering. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Did we go for a moment with the dropping down to the lizard here or no? I forgot. No, okay. In my brain I was like, did I actually do that? Okay, open up to the goddess, the other side.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Okay, so we're already squatting low, maybe the arms open. And shift to the left heel lifts. And over to the right heel lifts. 2. And 1. This time before we go down, just drop your hands onto the thighs and just let yourself lean for a moment. So rather than the forward fold, we're taking this stretch. Okay. Now start to walk the hands up to the top of the mat. The front foot swings under to lift up, 3-legged dog. Knee to the nose, hold. Shifting to left and right. 2, 1. And back up, 3-legged dog. And step that foot in between hands. Hands up to blocks, shift your weight over your standing leg. Last thing, this is our last hard thing of the whole day. I know we're all sweating, we're good. Tuck the knee in, walk the blocks back to lower down, send the leg through, piston squat. Good. Up, standing split. And 2. And 3. Amazing. Drop the foot down. Oh, good work. Just hang for a moment. We made it. This was one of those victory classes. It's like, yes, I did it. Planting the hands down, walk back through downward facing dog for a moment. Any movements that are helpful are welcome. And eventually lowering to knees. As you start to lower down to a seat, maybe have blocks by you. You may or may not want to use them. Left leg is going to go long in front of you. Right knee is going to be tucked back. If this is pretty intense, use one or both of the blocks as something to sit the left glute onto. So that'll make it a little bit more gentle on the knee. If you're doing okay right here, that's fine. Make sure both sitting bones are trying to touch down, and then start walking backwards. If you're almost in a stretch, usually the tailbone scooping under is all you need. Sometimes some people can make it all the way to their backs. So that could be a good collapse, just like, oh, I made it. Oh. Feel your heart rate starting to slow. Your breath is still as deep as it was when you're huffing and puffing, but it's a longer time to take up that breath. So deep inhale, still deep, but slower. And long exhale. Let's start to rise the reverse way that we got into it. Free out the right knee and then plant the right foot. And we take a twist. So hook hand or elbow, straighten the spine up, gaze over the right shoulder. Good, return forward, let the thigh fall down. Inhale, sweep the arms up to straighten the spine. And exhale, stretch up and over left leg. Start to rise, second side. Right leg is straight, left foot tucks back. Remember, you can sit on your block if you need to. And start to walk hands backwards. Maybe that tailbone scoop is already being initiated here. Maybe drop down to elbows or continue. Usually if I see people with their knees starting to lift, that's usually the sign that that's maybe a little bit too far for your muscles right now. So usually that's a sign, just back off a little bit, but if you're doing good, even if you need more, start scooping that tailbone under. Huge inhale, slow exhale. Start to rise up. Free out the left leg, planting the foot. Hook hand or elbow to take the twist. And remember, spine goes nice and straight up before we wind it around. With the return, the thigh falls down to the side. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, release. Checking in with our roots now. Maybe they feel extremely powerful by this point in class after everything we just did. So just be proud of them. And as we rise up, if there's any last stretches your body needs, either from the seated position or from starting to lay down, you're welcome to take any of those last stretches. No pressure about time. Take a full minute, a full 2 minutes if you need it. We're only heading toward our Shavasana when our body says, this is time. I'm happy, I'm complete. So again, no rush if you're doing any of those last stretches. But whenever you do find yourself here in Shavasana, start to imagine that all of the surface area of your body that's touching down is starting to grow little tiny roots. And that as the roots penetrate down into the earth, eventually, they'll start to invite nutrients from the earth up to the body that allows the body to heal and to repair and to become stronger than ever before. So with that image to lead us on, when you get here, let's take these long, deep breath cycles for the next few minutes in our Shavasana. Begin to deepen the inhales and the exhales. Introducing little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. Eventually, taking a beautiful fetal position off to one side. Let your body continue to rest. Maybe 3 or 4 more full cycles. And until you feel ready eventually to take a nice seated position. With hands at the heart, we envision our roots now whole, strong, supportive, nurturing, powerful. We feel like we can trust in people and in the future, and that these legs will make sure, these roots make sure that we are supported no matter what. And so with this groundedness, this support, this power to lead us into this marvelous day, let's wrap up this awesome time we got to share together with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.